I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to.
Alright, so like I said, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I didn't know how to do it, or I didn't know how to put myself in a position where this is a very dear topic in my life. If you know me, you're very close to me, you know the details of everything. Oh, I'm nauseous. I don't sugarcoat this topic. If somebody asks me a question, I'm very, very open about this topic and everything. So I thought I'll share it with my fam on YouTube. So me and my husband been together for 14 years. We met back in 2000 when we was 18, and now we are both 32. We've been married 12 years of those 14. I want to say right off bat, we knew we was meant for each other. And sorry mom, sorry dad, we stopped using protection years ago. And years ago, never gotten pregnant, never. I've had mishaps. I think I had a couple of miscarriages, but they were so early in the stage of pregnancy that I just remember going to the bathroom a couple of times and there was sacs, clear sacs that would come out of me. I may have told 2 people, a doctor and a friend, about those sacs, but it is what it is. I just remember them being like eggshell. You know how you get the clear, the yolk, and then the other stuff, and that's how it was. It was like clear like that. Probably about, wasn't that big, but I passed a couple of those early on. But at that time, I thought I was having so many issues. I had just got diagnosed with endometriosis. I had so many surgeries during that time. I just thought that it was just something that happens to your body once you go through certain surgeries, certain procedures, DNCs, burning of the endometriosis. I just thought that it was just a side effect of having those surgeries. So, I think my last one just put me just over the top. I was working at Robin, and I was so distraught about that I couldn't go to work. I couldn't function because I was like, you know, we was together for 7+ years. Everybody around me was having kids. People who didn't want to have kids was having kids. People who didn't need to have kids was having kids, and multiple ones of that sort. So it was just like, why me? Why have I had a kid yet? I've been with my significant other for up to 10 years or a couple of years. We love each other. I know my husband will make a good father. And it was just like, I know I make a darn good mother because I am so involved, or try to be involved in my nieces and nephews' life, or be that auntie that they can come talk to, they can go outside play kickball with. I'm that auntie. So I was like, you know, so excited, so ready for a baby, and then it was just told like, hey, yeah, I know you want kids, but you can't have them. So when the doctor finally just came in and was like, look, you really can't carry no kids. I have a one disease tube, one blocked tube. So my disease tube is just, if there are eggs getting produced and going through them, they basically getting, I don't want to say killed or unfertilized. They just, the toxic they have to go through just makes them just nothing. And then I have a blocked tube, so if there is anything trying to get through, they have to work really, really hard to get through, or don't get through at all. So I did a dye job, I did laparoscopy, I did exploratory surgery, I did almost everything other than going to an IVF specialist or a fertility specialist about my situation. So after my diagnosis of endometriosis, because I was having so much pain, my menstruals were so bad, especially when I was young. It was really just immobile me to the point where I couldn't do anything, couldn't go to school, couldn't do anything, couldn't work on my period. It was bad. So finally, the doctor was like, well, we're gonna go in and see what's really going on. So that's when they found out about the endometriosis, and that the endometriosis was so bad to the point where other organs were connected to other organs. Like my bowel, or ovary, were somewhat meshed together with the endometriosis, because endometriosis had wrapped itself around and just grew that much. So the doctor was like, I'm just gonna go in, I'll try to do what I can do, as much as I can without putting a hole in your bowel, because if I put a hole in your bowel, then you will have to go in surgery for that. So I was just like, look, do what you can, and if you can't, I'll just live with it, because endometriosis is not a curable disease. It's not a curable, and if you do get treatment for it, it's basically put you in a menopause. I'm only 32, and at this time that I found out about this, I was like 22, 23, so it was just like, I'm trying to have kids. I'm not trying not to have kids. Like, I don't want to go through a menopause. So I opt to not do that treatment for the endometriosis. I just vow to just be in pain. That's basically, you could go on this medicine, make you go through a menopause, or you just be in pain. I opt to be in pain because I wanted to have kids. So years pass by. I'm going in and out of the doctors. I'm going in and out of the hospital. I'm going in and out of surgeries. And I just got to the point where I'm just like, I'm just never going to be a mother. I just need to think of other options. Think of other things to do, because I'm just not going to birth these kids from myself. We don't use protection. I wasn't on no birth control. So just like, okay, this is not going to happen. But yeah, I did put my faith in God, saying, you know, whatever your will is, whatever. So me and my husband discussed, you know, adoption, foster, or whatever. But our top choice was IVF. When we started digging into IVF, it was like, it wasn't really a guarantee. I mean, you hear the people say, oh, I went through IVF, I got pregnant. But it's not that easy. It's a possibility I can go and pay $10,000, which I do not have. $10,000 just chilling to just throw away for a possibility. And I just couldn't, I didn't want to set myself up for a big ass failure, or just a big letdown on my part, or just Nature's part. So I just opted to, we couldn't afford it. Our insurance really didn't cover anything. Our insurance really didn't cover the testing for everything. So it was just like, wasn't feasible for us to do IVF. It wasn't feasible for us to do anything when it came to the specialist, because like I said, it's very expensive. Very expensive. And our pockets just couldn't handle what an IVF specialist would want us, you know, to be pushing out. I just couldn't do it. So it was like, okay, well, I can't do IVF because I don't have the money. My husband don't want to adopt because he was like, well, let's try first, and then if push come to shove, and which is way down the line, we might do adoption. And I'm like, okay, well, I understand that, because I would love to carry my own kids for myself, but you know, it's been a couple of years now, and we haven't got pregnant or whatever. So I thought about getting a surrogate. I was like, okay, well, we'll just do a surrogate. It's hard because somebody else is carrying your child. Not only someone else is carrying your child, I'm like, do they take the characteristics from that person? Do they get different things? Because that person, blood is going through their body. Their mental state, all that baby interacts and has to deal with. So I'm like, you know, does a surrogate, even if it's my egg, my husband's egg, do that surrogate, any kind of traits come from that surrogate? And I'm just like, I didn't even know anyone that I would be like willing to even put that much care into. Like, you're carrying my baby, my miracle baby, my baby that otherwise if you wasn't here I won't be having. That's just a lot for me. And me and my husband was just like, that, again, that's another option that's not even thinking about it. That's off the table. So now it's 2014. We've been together since 2000, so it's 14 years. We do not have any kids. We want them. I want to be a mother. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I tried to understand it wasn't my time. I tried to understand that God has a purpose. But it's hard when people are getting pregnant around you that don't even need kids. Or people who's getting pregnant around them don't take care of the kids that they have now. That's hard. People who I feel I don't deserve a baby gets baby when I'm sitting here like I'm ready. I'm ready. I've been ready for whatever years. I've been ready. And it's hard to understand like God has a will and your will is this and whatever. When there's so many people I know that has planned it and was like, I'm gonna get pregnant and I'm gonna have kids. They do. Or I see people who get married and then 6 months down the line of them getting married or a year after them getting married, they're producing kids. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, me and my husband together so many years, been get married for so many years, and we haven't been blessed. Like, as you can see, I am sitting in my baby's room. It's housing all my crap, as you can see, but I'm believing God for it. I know it's gonna come. It's just like you get to the point like, when? I know people who abort babies left and right, and there's no...
I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to survive. I believe that life is a prize, but to live doesn't mean you're alive. Don't worry about me and who I fire. I get what I desire, it's my empire. And yes, I call the shots, I am the umpire. I sprinkle holy water upon the vampire.